My name is Colton Griffin, CEO of Flourish Software. Excited to share a little bit about the company today. Met a lot of you yesterday and today, and looking forward to having some more discussions coming out of the show. So who's Flourish? We're a seed-to-sale supply chain software platform built specifically for cannabis, CBD, and hemp. The cannabis industry is obviously why we're all here. I don't need to spend a lot of time on this slide because I think we all see the opportunity. We're all in the opportunity. We're all looking at the growth and the rapid expansion both domestically and internationally. And we all, I think, appreciate the fact that there's a lot of ancillary opportunity alongside the plant-touching operators in the space. Massive growth since we started in 2017 as we see key states continue to be knocked down and adult use following medical across the country. You know, for our targets for this market, California, Michigan, Massachusetts have been really exciting for us as new growth markets. And we're just riding the wave alongside all the other operators in this space. When we look at a $20+ billion consumer market, you know, you can back into a certain percent of IT spend and a certain percent of market share there for a software company like us. Generally, in my estimate, that'd be, you know, between a half and 1.5% and 1% of that. We're also super excited about the CBD and hemp market. So we've had some good traction over the last year, starting to tackle some operators in this space. Obviously, with the 2018 Farm Bill, that's opened up, you know, the whole country to us to be able to license our software and help these operators run their business. And we've seen that start to materialize. In my experience, any one of these markets that open up is a 12 to 18 month lag from, you know, legislation passing to us being able to really do some real business, just because we have to, you know, build these facilities and get them up and running before we can throw software in them. So who is Flourish? We're, like I said, a complete supply chain management platform. We built this platform from the ground up over the last 2.5 years. We service cultivators, manufacturers, distributors, and retailers. We have really strong analytics within the application, some light customer management, and we are built with an enterprise in mind. So SaaS platform built on Amazon Web Services, very scalable, very fast moving, and cloud hosted. We also do have a mobile app on iOS and Android that pairs with our SaaS platform. So you can use your computer, or you can also do work out in the field or in the facility where you're at. And like I said, you know, our customers really are every segment of the supply chain, which is really exciting. So we started in cultivation and worked our way forward. We were kind of pulled into the point of sale market by vertically integrated operators who wanted one platform to run their operation end to end. All these products are on one platform, which is really nice. So we don't have to go and deploy like separate pieces of code base. It's all one code base. It's just configuration and enabling you know, the different modules for the operators where they're at. And then of course, you know, in certain markets like California, we have like those license types like micro businesses that can operate one or more of these activities within the facility, and we can service them as well. You know, one of our early customers has been one of our favorite customers over the last couple years. Is Surterra Wellness. They recently renamed themselves to Parallel. It's been, to me, just incredible to be part of this growth story, and our software is behind like what is a really rapid expansion. So they were less than 50 employees, small 10,000 square foot cultivation facility, 1 or 2 retail stores when we first deployed Flourish. Today, we run over 75 locations across 3 states. You know, massive cultivation facility, 200-person manufacturing plant. I think just in Florida, we have almost 50 deployments of our retail point of sale and non-storefront delivery. It's just been really incredible to see a company scale from, you know, less than 50 to nearly 2,000 employees in 2 years, and see our technology scale alongside that. So we always we like to talk about them when we're talking to our prospects about how, you know, we can help them achieve similar goals. So I have a couple slides just to kind of dive into some of the product, just to understand kind of what we fit, where we fit. Sometimes, you know, I get asked like, you know, more detailed questions about, you know, what do you guys actually do for these people? Who is your actual customer? Who is the actual user of this? So in cultivation, we manage the plants through the cultivation life cycle and then the harvest and all the metrics and all the inventory coming off the harvest. Extremely easy to use interface, sits on top of the state track and trace, gives the state back what they need, but captures a lot of interesting information about the life cycle of the plant and the harvest and the results of that. In manufacturing, for extractors, we can do yields, we do extraction runs, so your processors and your tolling, making oil. We also, for assemblies and edible manufacturers or vape manufacturers, will handle all the non-cannabis inventory and the ingredients and bills of material, lot tracking, and we have clients that have GMP certification, and we're part of that, supporting that along with their own internal processes. In distribution, we have a very strong background in large-scale distribution, so we have a light, warehouse management capabilities to handle all the basic inventory management within a facility. Pretty exciting to continue to mature that product as people mature and scale their own operations. And then in retail, we launched our retail point of sale to a chain of 30 stores on launch. So we don't typically lead with our retail. There's a lot of good retail point of sale players in the market, but we say that we like to work with multi-state, multi-site, and vertically integrated operators because that's really what we built retail for, that more enterprise deployment. And it's performed really well since March when we almost doubled the footprint of that. And it's built with a modern retail experience in mind. So, our external facing API, not to get too technical on the stage here, is really key to helping other ancillary players tie into our platform. So if you look at Flourish as a supply chain management platform, you look at it as like the heartbeat or the circulatory system for the industry, right? This inventory is flowing from facility to facility, license to license, and within the operations through our platform. They're doing the core inventory management, the core purchasing, the core order fulfillment. But there's a lot of other players in the market in this tech ecosystem that we like to work with, right? So on the sales side, we want to help our customers sell as effectively and fast as they can. Drop an order from whatever marketplace you want to use into our system. We'll do the fulfillment. We'll expose the inventory. We'll make sure it gets done. From a compliance perspective, obviously we have to sit on top of the compliance state track and trace system and send that data back. Metric's a beast to work with, but I feel like we've solved it pretty well and do a good job at doing that. There's great financial packages. We want to give an upgrade path for our clients to mature that segment of their business. And then, analytics, environmental control, and security systems, trying to tie these different systems together. Also ingest interesting data sets into our platform for like a single point of truth and visibility to the operation. And obviously, not just ancillary players, other marketplaces and complementary products. We obviously have a healthy set of competition. A lot of people have thrown their hat into the ring to try to solve these problems. There's really a couple vertical contenders that offer, an end-to-end platform. BioTrack and MJ Freeway obviously being publicly listed. There's a lot of information publicly about what they're doing. LeafLogic's another competitor that does that. And then we find we have, a set of competitors nipping at our heels at different segments of the supply chain. So some people focus on distribution, some people focus a little bit more on cultivation, some people focus a little bit more on manufacturing, and then obviously there's a very healthy set of people tackling the point of sale market and doing a good job at doing that. So I think what we say is that, we are competing against most of these people in some sort of competitive deal, but also we're just competing against spreadsheets and manual entry, right? So it's a big step to get real software in place, and that's who we're mostly replacing is Google Sheets and using the state track and trace directly. We've kind of a competitive analysis against each of the players here. So why us? Like, why are we doing here? What makes us different? Like, where did we come from? And how are we solving these problems in a way that these other competitors are not? I think it really comes from the team. It was a great conversation last night talking about, how did we get this thing off the ground, and and how did we get to the point where we're at now? And it really comes down to the team. So one of my co-founders and I started at a company called Manhattan Associates. When we got out of college, they're the 800-pound gorilla in supply chain technology for the broader market. Juan Bennett and I met and spent a year or so doing consulting, and I've been personally part of over 200 enterprise supply chain software deployments across Fortune 500 and Fortune 1000 companies, across many verticals in the United States. I think that supply chain background and that enterprise background, having worked at Fortune 1000, Fortune 100 companies, informed a lot of the vision for where we see the industry going. A lot of learning experiences about how to implement and deliver software, a lot of good technical expertise on how to track and move things at scale. And this industry has and needs all that, but then there's this cannabis nuance on top of it, which everything in cannabis is 10 times harder than it should be. So I think it's been really fun for us to take what was a vision in the enterprise world, and then actually make it a reality here. So, if you look at major retailers or CPG companies, they have a vision of being able to be standardized on a tech platform end to end and have visibility in data and analytics and reporting and consistent workflows and SOPs and across their enterprise. But the mechanics of doing that are very challenging when you have the technology that you've invested millions of dollars in over 30, 40, 50 years, and people obviously that are also entrenched in the processes that they're dealing with. So our opportunity, in cannabis was to actually execute on this vision for real scalable, configurable, easy to deploy, straightforward to deploy supply chain technology. And then we look at the other aspects of the team. Pete leads our client services. He was interim CEO for Lunchbox Alchemy up in Oregon for a minute. Good operations experience. We have a couple other people on the team that have been director of compliance at large-scale cultivation facilities, director of operations at large-scale cultivation facilities, and then we've partnered very, very closely with a lot of our customers, especially in the early stages of this company, to really understand what is it that they need and how are they maturing as a business. How are you going from an operation with 5 people to 50 to 200 in a very short amount of time, and how do those workflows change, and what elements of the software do you need to change with them. So and that's really been a competitive advantage for us, is our ability to deliver and respond and be in tune with the nuance of the operations in the different states. We're deployed across the country in some states that also are not cannabis in our CBD and hemp side. We have employees across the United States, 3 main offices: Atlanta, LA, and Bend, Oregon, and then a couple one-off employees in some other areas where the talent was there. So I can't emphasize enough about how much the team is important in making this all work. As a startup, you have to be in lockstep, and you have to have that expertise to execute. And we have this concept internally to share, a practice I think has been awesome for us to adopt and internalize, is like our flywheel. So, our company is a product company. We sell software. We sell a very robust software platform, and we sell how we deliver that software. So the organization has to be aligned around that product, and it has to be aligned with each other. When I have an industrial engineering degree, and you go to a manufacturing plant and you talk about line balancing, you talk about, if this machine is making widgets at X per hour and this machine can process these widgets at Y per hour, how do you balance those lines, so that things can flow through and then just get jammed up and piled up at the start of the beginning, right? So you kind of take that same principles and apply it internally to the company. When we talk about how are we selling, how are we servicing, how are we marketing what we're selling and servicing, how are we aligning that with a product that we deliver new features every other week. We've built 7 major products in 2.5 years, and deployed that across the country. It has to be very tight. It has to be very well communicated. That change management is critical internally to get people trained and up to speed. It's critical for our clients to make sure it's delivered properly. And it's just been, it's been really, really awesome to build the processes internally to really execute. I'm really appreciative of the sort of mentorship and direction I've been given, and have the privilege of working with some really experienced people in the broader sense of the market. We have a really strong board of directors we put together. Micah Tapman was a fantastic VC, led our last round. He's made over 100 investments in here. He co-founded Canopy Boulder, awesome operations background as well. Greg has been a great mentor to me. He founded a company called Blue Ridge Global. They're really the leader in supply chain forecasting, demand planning in the broader supply chain sense. He just exited a company to Amazon. He came in to be the CEO to get them through that journey. Just a really stand-up guy in Atlanta. Tom lives out in West Hollywood, not far from where I live. He's also been an amazing mentor. He worked for Larry Ellison for over 20 years, built up Oracle's retail division. I started at Oracle when they were only $800 million in revenue. So very interesting to see someone that sold a lot of software to a lot of my bosses when I started my career, now being on the board and us talking about how we're taking over supply chain technology and conquering this market, on a day-to-day basis. And then, of course, myself and one of my co-founders are on the board, and my other co-founder is a board observer. So, I do like to obviously talk about how we make money. We're a software company. Our money is primarily SaaS driven. We have a healthy stream of recurring revenue. Over 90% of our revenue is recurring. Our pricing generally starts at a certain level. We have some startup programs to help people get and adopt this software at a smaller size. And then obviously we have more enterprise deals, which will price the deal, according to the footprint that we're deploying to. We license the software pretty much in lockstep with the state licensing, and then we have good add-ons, that we're trying to build upsell paths to fully monetize the lifetime value of these customers. So, if you look at a 22,000 square foot cultivation facility, just kind of a standard pricing model, we might want to think about that lifetime of that customer over that, and then being able to really also drive more value to that customer and also monetize that further with additional services and analytics, et cetera. And we've really executed this in a real way. So, 2017, our first 3 clients, kind of getting the product out. 2018, we started to hit our stride, really built these other products, got them fully released, got a lot more depth. And this year, we've successfully, mastered like the multi-state deployments, and really just feeling a lot of wind at our back. So we are raising some money. We're getting that officially kicked off in the next, probably the next 2 weeks, kind of this week and last week, building some nice buzz, understanding, investors we want to be talking to, and excited to continue to execute on the vision. So continuing to invest in our core SaaS platform, build depth of this product, to innovate at a very rapid pace and deploy this across the country and ultimately internationally as well. We have a number of international opportunities that are in front of us that we just need to build more capacity to do. Nice thing about being SaaS and being on a true cloud is that it's very easy to deploy across the world. We love the delivery. We think there's more to monetize in the services, more value to provide to our customers, and then the analytics and data play obviously becomes very apparent at scale. We want to put the right engineering resources into building interesting products on top of our product to sell to the broader market.